Welcome to the Caver76 Nerding Gamer Show, episode 7. Don't forget to like and subscribe, because that helps out a lot. So this week, I want to kind of get into what I did. I did something with podcasting. I wanted to get these episodes, the audio stripped, and get them on the podcasting servers, because I feel like these would do really well in a podcast. I still prefer the YouTube format, and I really like the YouTube show better. But I also do feel like that, you can reach more audience out in the podcasting world. So I stripped all the audio, uploaded it on a podcasting server, and I'm hoping to start to see some results of the podcasting server. So we'll see how that works. Yesterday we got together, myself and Sound Wizard, and we played some Red Dead Redemption 2 online. We love that game. It's always an interesting time when you play Red Dead. So we got on, forgot how to play. The full footage is up on Twitter. I'm going to cut it up and put it up on YouTube too. We don't normally do bad things, but we were really bored yesterday, and we did some pretty bad things. Didn't attack any players, but we attacked the NPCs, and that's part of the game, I suppose. It's sad to say, and I don't like bad-mouthing anything that... I love Rockstar games, and I love what they do, but the game is just empty. There's nothing going on. There's nothing to do. The towns were empty. There wasn't even NPCs in the town. It was just weird. Maybe we just got a weird server. I don't know. But I ended up logging out of that because I was kind of bored. Let's see. I did some Zereth Mortis in World of Warcraft. I got my gear score up to 252, I think. Yeah, 252. And I checked out a lot of the interviews that were on with the Dragonflight expansion, and they're all really good. Enjoyed them. Really did enjoy them. SWTOR this week, we had a big update. We got the weapons in the outfitter slot, and that is just fucking awesome. I have been collecting weapons on all of my characters since the day the game came out. I still have stuff on Caver that is like ancient. And it's so cool to finally be able to use those weapons and things. It's awesome. So that is one of my favorite things, and I really do wish they would have had that longer. But hey, it's here now, so that's awesome. Great job, guys. So cool. I logged into GTA Online a little bit. That in itself is more of an adventure than Red Dead. I logged into that because I have this... I think I watched a little too much SOA, but as I was younger, and I love the motorcycle club feature. So I logged in and I bought a motorcycle, and I was so proud. I was like, yeah, I got this cool freaking Harley looking motorcycle, and I go and I take it out and I get gunned down by about 5 people and they blew up my bike. Yeah. it's GTA Online, man. In Elder Scrolls, I did log in every day because I wanted the Jester, and I finally got the Jester 2 nights ago, I think, and he's going to look awesome in my house. I know there was a new update out. Yes, Ahmed, I know there was an update. I'm going to check it out. I'm gonna play a little bit this weekend. I still love ESO. It's just fun. So that was pretty much everything I did. We're going to get right into the questions. So give me 1 second here. Let me find it. All right, and we're going to get right into it. So this week's questions and answers. And now that I'm looking at that, it should be question and answers, and I will fix that on the next show. But for today, the question is, what is something you would like to add or change in a game you play? Ziani came up with this question, and it's a really good fucking question. So, the first reply comes from Ziani at Pandarin for Life. Yes, I gave her the first reply. It was her question. She writes, at World of Warcraft, I need more pink. It's a color that is completely not present enough in WoW. I would like pink armor. I'm hoping there is a pink dragon option coming up in the custom dragon mount. Also, some of the older mounts to be available again, since I wasn't around then and I want them. It's so funny because until she brought it up, I never noticed it. Have you guys noticed that? There's no pink armor in the World of Warcraft. Like, it's just a color there really isn't anything of. It's red, yeah. Light red, dark red, but not pink. There's nothing in pink. Elder Scrolls, you can dye things pink. Warcraft, you can dye... SWTOR, you can dye things pink. But in Warcraft, there's no pink at all. Like, none. I think that's a really good point. And as for the mounts, You can get them in the black market auction house, but you need to save up some gold. And since you only have one character, you can save up some gold. On to the next reply. This one comes from Michelle Corbett at Misha Corbett. They wrote, at swtor, add some puzzle quests, not just 30 feet and shoot another 5 guys, rinse and repeat, and then nauseum. You know, I laugh, Michelle, because it's like, first off, I don't like puzzle quests, but that image you put in my head, it's like, puzzle quest, 30 feet, shoot another 5 guys, puzzle quest, rinse and repeat, I want to throw up. It's like, it just made me laugh. It's good, it really is. And I apologize for the sound of the dish my dog is eating in the background here. The next response comes from Palaeus at Palaeus Athen. Yes, I probably butchered your name, Palaeus, and I'm sorry. I think I've done it before in a different episode. They wrote, at swtor, I would like to add the option to turn off XP gains. I would like to have a few characters to stay in specific PvP bracket without having them level out of it. Some of the best fun is when you don't have every ability or maxed out gear. You know, I'm not really one for PvP that much. I don't do it as much. But I remember in Warcraft, I remember people having PvP characters that they just specialized in PvP. And they didn't want them to go up that level. And I remember there being an option to turn it off. So I could see that for sure. And if you're just specializing in PvP, you probably don't want to go up in levels. But see, I'm the opposite. Like, you really got to throw me on the opposite crowd here because I'm Altoholic and I want the XP. So if I'm in PvP, because I don't do it much, but if I'm in it, it's because I'm getting bored of what I'm doing to level, which is 90% of the time is dungeons or heroics. So I would probably do PvP for the leveling. I've done it before. So yeah, there's definitely, I can see it from both sides of that, that reply. Next one comes from Imperial Librarian at Rebel Real Canon. I love the name Imperial Librarian. That one is fucking good. At swtor, well, the whole counselor's game is full of riddles and puzzles, which I've always suspected is why so many people grumble about it. There's also a mission on Balmora, Imp called Track and 4. That I won't do because the puzzle is hard. Datacron hunting is all puzzles too. I don't like Datacron hunting. In fact, if you look at my legacy and like what I've collected in Datacrons, it's not much because I just don't have an interest in it. And I don't like puzzles. Like I said before, I just don't like puzzles. I don't like anything that requires a puzzle. I get frustrated, it's hard, and then I go, babe, Ziani, can you help me? I get really mad. I've not tried that mission on Balmora, I don't think. Maybe I have. The name isn't ringing a bell, but I've done a lot of missions, so I probably have. But anytime where there's a puzzle, it's hard. In fact, it's making me think of the heroic. I think where you've got to do the puzzle and you've got to move the pipes on Corellia. Oh, freaking hell, I hated that. And I remember I'd get into pickup groups and people would be like so mad at me because I didn't know how to do it. And I'm like, does anybody here know how to do it? Because I sure the hell don't know how to do it. Then I found a YouTube video and it became so simple. That's how I solve puzzles, YouTube. So, love the name though, Imperial Librarian. Really cool. Next one comes from phitechx at x_phitechx_x. I wish swtor had a difficulty setting for non-chapter story. Some base game content is simply too easy. I also love a legacy server. I prefer how the game used to play compared to how it is now, or compared to now. I want to say that I too like the legacy idea. I think if SWG, Star Wars Galaxies, had a legacy server, I believe it would still be around today. Because a lot of people didn't like the changes that were coming out, and that's what drove people kind of out of the game. They just didn't like it. And I know that Classic WoW, WoW has World of Warcraft Classic, and it allows you to go back and play it like that. So why not? I like what swtor has now. I mean, I don't even remember how different it was, but I would be down with it. I definitely like the legacy idea for sure, definitely. And the difficulty settings for non-chapter story, that's a great point. That's a really good point, because sometimes, I mean, I'm always going to option for the easy because I'm a speed leveler. I just love to level. But if you had the option to have the difficulty setting, at least you'd be able to play at your own pace, because some people do like to repeat story. They just don't like it to be too easy. So having the option to have a difficulty setting for your non-chapter story makes some sense, for sure. Next one comes from Fred McVan, at Fred McVan. He writes, at World of Warcraft, I have thrown a few of these ideas out there already, but professions could use a cool change. Why can't they make recipes that incorporate new and old mats? And real blacksmithing, you have a steel shield with gems and, say, gold inlays? I like the idea of being able to use old mats with new stuff. Like, if I wanted my armor to have, say, a bronze trim, why can't you require me to have bronze, ignits that you would use, or bronze ore? Like, that would make some sense. And even for the swords, like, if you would like a special jewel on the bottom of your sword that nobody else has, why can't a jewel crafter craft you that gem that you can put in that sword? Or why can't they make a special gem you can put, like, say, on the corner of your armor here, or something like that, or even a gem on your helmet, or something like that? Like, that's a cool idea. I mean, I know that Dragonflight's going to have some profession changes, so I do look forward to that, to see what they do. But I definitely like the idea of incorporating old mats, because I don't like this new system of only using new mats. I just don't like it. Next one comes from Electric Smurf at Sound Wizard LLC. He had two answers, and I said, which one? He said, both. And since he writes the music to the show, he can have two. He writes, at Elden Ring, a coherent plot, better controls, actual multiplayer, no griefers, invading multiplayer. At Red Dead Online, the game should offer all of the gameplay that GTA offers. It's the redheaded stepchild of Rockstar, and really, it's the better game. They should support it. I'm sorry, my freaking mic thing is blocking the question sometimes, and I can't freaking read it. I have to move it around. But, he's got a point. Elden Ring, you guys have not convinced me to play. What's funny is my neighbor was just outside, and he just bought Elden Ring, and he was telling me about it. And he said he's been stuck at the same camp since 8 o'clock yesterday. And he says it's the most frustrating game, and he can skip the camp, but he doesn't want to skip the camp because he keeps getting killed by this thing, and being that he used to play Warcraft, he wants to progress through it. So between him and you guys, I'm not sold on it. I don't see myself buying it. I'm a rage quitter, and it'll drive me nuts. So next one, Red Dead Online. That that we're in agreement with, because I think Red Dead Online, for a person who loves history, and I love history, and the Wild West is one of my favorite, if not my favorite time of history, of U.S. history. I don't understand why it isn't more popular. Like, why can't they add more stuff to it? Why can't it have everything that GTA has? GTA's got properties, it's got side missions, heists, it's got all this cool gear, all this cool cars, all these cool choppers and bikes, and all this cool shit. You've got the casino, it's active, you can do things. The casino's got slot machines, the wheel, it's got horse racing. Why don't we have these things in freaking Red Dead? Why don't we have gambling in the saloon? Why don't we have more stuff? Like, I just don't get why Rockstar doesn't do anything with it. As you can tell, I'm very passionate about it. It's probably my all-time favorite game out of all the ones I've been playing. And I love WoW and I love SWTOR, but I have this thing for the Wild West, and it makes me really sad every time we talk about it. So, Smurf and I are on the same page with that one for sure. Next one comes from Console at Console. He writes, Overwatch. I like Quick Play Classic because you aren't restricted to a class type, but god dang it, you can't play when no one wants to be a tank or a healer. The new Quick Play is too restrictive, requiring 2 tanks and 2 healers. Why don't we make 1 tank and 1 healer, 2 DPS and 2 optional roles? I have not played Overwatch since, I want to say, it came out in beta. I actually beta tested it on the computer. Blizzard had let me beta test it. And I didn't like it. I'm not a first-person shooter type of gamer. I'm just not. I don't like first-person shooters. I don't like the way they look. I have a hard time seeing in it. You've seen me play. I like to have my character close to the screen. I don't like that view. I don't know too much about modern Overwatch, but I don't understand why they would have 2 tanks and 2 healers. Depending, I guess, how much is in a group, and maybe you can kind of refresh my memory on that because I don't remember. But why are they like a raid group? I can see that being frustrating, but I don't know much about it, so I can't really make a comment that's going to make some sense. But anyway, on to the next one. Comes from everybody's favorite Elder Scrolls player himself, Ahmed Sumadai. He writes at ESO, something simple. I want a survey and treasure maps to be arranged by zone instead of type. Would make it much easier to go through them when you 50 at a time like I do. I have quite a few more games, but I went with that since it's the game I play the most. Dude, you go through 50 at a time? Holy hell. You know, you're probably going to yell at me for this one, Ahmed, but I take the treasure maps, they drive me fucking nuts, and I put them in the bank. I don't go through them, and if they get to take up too much spots in my bank and I need to get out of my bank, I freaking delete them all. So, but I can see that. Like, why don't you break the treasure maps down by, like, Illicar Desert or, like, Glenumbra or something that, you know, each zone, like, that would make sense, because then you could be like, these are my zone maps for this one, these are my zone maps for this one. It would make some sense. I don't see why they couldn't do it, to be honest with you. I mean, why not? At least to give you a way to arrange it. If you're going through 50 at a time, that's got to be frustrating. I mean, it's kind of like the mats in SWTOR. Like, you know, they were cool about it, though, SWTOR. They like, put them all in stacks. But sometimes I just look at it and go, man, I have so many. And it gets frustrating, especially when you're putting them in banks and trying to store them. Next one comes from Kitty Treats, at Kitty Treats, who I want to say, I hope Kitty Kisses is feeling better. I jumped on the stream the other night, or the stream for the show, and I saw Chill in there by himself, and I was like, oh man, that's not good. But he was kicking it, he was doing his thing, and I know everybody misses Kitty. So she wrote, in SWTOR, I would love to see if the color crystal I'm using would change the color of my lightning on my lightning Sork. And Kitty Treats, like, I have to say, when I read your reply, that's such a cool freaking idea. Like, how cool would that be? Like, you get your yellow crystal, and then your lightning, you're going like this with your lightning, and it's all yellow coming out, or like bright blue, or like neon pink. Oh, maybe I could get Ziani to play if she could choose pink lightning, you know? I mean, I could probably sell her on that one. But that's a cool freaking idea, and I would love to see that. Like, that would be freaking awesome. Why not? Anyway, again, I hope Kitty Kisses is feeling better. On to the next one. Shantyman Gaming, at Shantyman Gaming. Oh, again, Shanty, thank you so much for always reaching out and always being that you know, dependable guy. I know. I every week I'm like, Shanty's gonna reply, and it's awesome because you do. I got to jump on one of your streams and catch it one of these days too. He writes, mostly for ESO, I like to add a toggle for more difficult overworld content to just about any MMO I play. That one, yeah, without a doubt. Like, I mean, I'm always going to choose the easy level because I'm a freaking speed level, like I said earlier. But why not have a toggle switch? Like, for any game, like, I mean, you should be able to change the difficulty of the questing you're doing. Or anything, you know, any type of questing, heroics. I mean, just anything in general would be, that's a good feature to have. Definitely, I could see that. So the question again is, what is something you would add or change in a game you play? And I know you guys are going to know my answer. I mean, if you know me and you've been reading my social media and you know what I post and what I talk about every week, you know the thing for me that I would change, especially in World of Warcraft, because that's my biggest issue. Character slots. I mean, seriously. Why can't every game be like SWTOR? SWTOR lets you buy all these slots. I think you can have like 100 or something. And if I'm wrong, go ahead and correct me. But I remember somebody saying you can buy like up to 100, 80 or 100 slots. Why does World of Warcraft restrict me to 50? Like, seriously, why? What is the point of that? I'm an Altoholic. I want to have as many characters as I can. And even ESO, I think you limit me on 11 or 12. I think it's 11 characters. Like, the hell, why can't you give me more slots? That's my playstyle. That's what I want. If I can change anything in any game I play, which is pretty much the same thing in every game I play, more slots. Red Dead Redemption. Why can't you give me a second character? For God's sake, I might be playing more if I could have a second character. It's just me. I love alts. I love making more characters. So if I can change it, I would definitely change it. It's slots. It's character slots for me. It's always going to be character slots for me. And please, World of Warcraft, for Dragonflight, give us more slots. I'm okay with one or two, but by God, add more. Like, throw it in the store. I'll buy them. I promise you, I'll buy them. And there's plenty of people like me. We'll buy more. So why can't you just add it? Well, that's pretty much it. That's my big thing. That's the one thing I would change. I really love the question. Again, Ziani came up with it. Great question. Thank all the new people for replying. Thank all my friends again for jumping in and always being there with the replies, and Shanti always being quick to respond. Next week I'm gonna have another good question. I'm gonna post it this weekend, and I guess hope all you guys have a great weekend, and I will catch you next week.